What if I told you there's a vegetable that actually gets sweeter after a frost? And it's probably sitting in your neighbor's garden right now while you're missing out on the easiest harvest of the year. Stick around because number 7 is going to flip everything you thought you knew about winter gardening. Hey there, garden friends. Welcome back to Garden Mentor, where we help you grow more while spending less. If you're new here, you've just stumbled onto your new favorite gardening corner of the internet, and I'm genuinely glad you're here. For those who keep coming back, you already know we don't do fluff, just real, practical advice that actually works in your backyard. Now, before we dig into these cold-loving champions, do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss our weekly tips. And here's the thing. If even one of these vegetables surprises you today, drop a comment and let me know which one. I read every single one, and your questions often inspire our next videos. All right, let's get growing. Look, most people think gardening ends when the first chill hits. They pack up their tools, cover their beds, and call it a season. But here's what the pros know. Some of the best vegetables you'll ever taste come from cold soil. We're talking about plants that laugh at frost, shrug off snow, and actually produce better flavor when temperatures drop. Today, I'm walking you through 15 vegetables that don't just survive the cold, they absolutely thrive in it. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be planning your autumn planting schedule. Vegetable number 1, kale. First up, we've got kale, but not the way you think. Everyone knows kale tolerates cold, but here's the secret nobody talks about. Kale that goes through a hard freeze becomes an entirely different vegetable. Those bitter, tough leaves, they transform into something sweet and tender. The frost breaks down the starches into sugars, which is nature's way of protecting the plant. Plant it 6 weeks before your first frost, and you'll be harvesting the best-tasting greens all winter long. Varieties like Winterbor and Lacinato are absolute champions. One planting can feed you for months because you just keep picking the lower leaves while the plant keeps producing. Vegetable number 2, spinach. Spinach is the ultimate cold weather workhorse. While summer spinach bolts the second it gets warm, winter spinach just sits there pumping out leaves like it's got nothing better to do. Here's the trick. Plant it in late summer or early fall, and it'll germinate quickly before temperatures really drop. Once established, spinach can handle temperatures down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit without breaking a sweat. The leaves grow slower in cold weather, which actually makes them thicker and more flavorful. Try Bloomsdale or Space for varieties that laugh at winter. Vegetable number 3, Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are where things get interesting. Most gardeners give up on these because they take forever to mature, but that long growing season is exactly why they're perfect for cold weather. Plant them in midsummer, let them grow through fall, and here's the magic. They need frost to taste good. Seriously, Brussels sprouts harvested before frost are bitter and disappointing. After a few good freezes, those little cabbages develop a nutty, sweet flavor that converts even the haters. The cold triggers sugar production, and suddenly you understand why fancy restaurants charge so much for them. Just remember, they're tall plants, so stake them if you get heavy snow. Vegetable number 4, carrots. Now here's number 4, and this is where people's minds get blown. Carrots in winter are not the same vegetable as summer carrots. When carrots experience repeated freezing and thawing, they convert their starches to sugar as a natural antifreeze. You end up with carrots so sweet they taste like candy. Plant them in late summer. Let them size up before the hard freezes hit, then mulch heavily with straw. You can literally dig them out of frozen ground all winter. Varieties like Napoli and Bolero are bred specifically for this. Some gardeners say their winter carrots are sweeter than any fruit they grow. Quick pause here. If you're learning something new, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps more gardeners find this information, and honestly, it lets me know you want more content like this. Also, drop a comment telling me which vegetable you're most excited to try. I'm curious what resonates with you folks. All right, back to our list. And number 5 is a personal favorite. Vegetable number 5, leeks. Leeks are the forgotten heroes of the cold weather garden. While onions struggle, leeks just stand there in the snow like sentinels. They're incredibly hardy, tolerating temperatures well below freezing. And here's the beautiful part. You can harvest them anytime from fall through early spring. Just take what you need and leave the rest in the ground. They actually improve in flavor after exposure to cold. The leaves might look a bit rough, but the white stems stay perfect. Plant varieties like King Richard or Bandit in summer, and you'll have fresh leeks for soups and stews all winter without any storage hassles. Vegetable number 6. Parsnips. Parsnips are criminally underrated. They look like white carrots, but the flavor is completely unique, sweet, nutty, earthy. Here's the key. Never harvest parsnips until after a hard frost. Before frost, they're starchy and bland. After frost, they become phenomenal. The plant stores starches in the root during summer, then converts those starches to sugar when temperatures drop to protect itself from freezing. You can leave them in the ground all winter under mulch, digging them as needed. Some gardeners even leave them until spring, though they'll start growing again and lose sweetness. Parsnips are a plant it and forget it crop that rewards patience. Vegetable number 7. Cabbage. Remember that mystery vegetable from the beginning that gets sweeter after frost? Surprise, it's cabbage. But we're not talking about your grandma's boiled cabbage here. Cold-grown cabbage is crisp, sweet, and perfect for slaws and ferments. The secret is choosing late-season varieties like January King or Dead On, which are specifically bred to mature in cold weather. These cabbages can sit in your garden through multiple frosts, and each cold snap improves their flavor. The outer leaves might look ragged, but peel them back and you've got tight, perfect heads underneath. Plus, cabbage is one of the few vegetables that actually stores better in cold ground than in your refrigerator. Vegetable number 8. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is your insurance policy for the cold weather garden. It's tough, productive, and keeps going long after other greens have called it quits. The rainbow varieties with colored stems are especially hardy, tolerating temperatures into the low 20s. Here's what makes chard brilliant. You can harvest it continuously, taking outer leaves while the plant keeps producing from the center. One row of chard can feed a family all winter. It handles frost, light snow, and even brief hard freezes. When spring arrives, it picks right back up and produces for another few months before bolting. That's nearly a year of harvests from one planting. Vegetable number 9. Turnips. Turnips are fast, easy, and completely unbothered by cold. You can plant them 6 weeks before frost and harvest before winter, or plant them extra early and let them mature in the cold for better flavor. Young turnip greens are fantastic in salads, and the roots develop sweetness after frost exposure. The smaller roots, about golf ball size, are tender and mild. Nothing like those woody giants you see in stores. Varieties like kohlrabi are sweet enough to eat raw. Plant turnips thickly, thin them for greens, and let the rest size up for roots. It's 2 vegetables from one planting. Vegetable number 10. Arugula. Arugula in summer is a spicy nightmare that bolts if you look at it wrong. Arugula in cold weather is a completely different experience. The cold mellows that intense pepperiness into a pleasant, nutty flavor with just a hint of bite. It grows slowly in cold weather, which means you're not overwhelmed with bushels of leaves all at once. Plant it in fall, and it'll produce steady harvests through winter, especially if you give it minimal protection like a cold frame or row cover. Astro and Sylvetta are particularly cold-hardy varieties. Fresh salad greens in January are a game-changer. Vegetable number 11. Radishes. Quick-growing radishes are perfect for filling gaps in your fall garden. While most radishes are spring crops, winter varieties like black Spanish and watermelon radish are bred for cold weather and longer storage. These radishes mature slowly, developing larger roots and milder flavors than their spring cousins. They can handle light frosts without issue. Plant them about 8 weeks before your first hard freeze, and they'll size up perfectly. The bonus with winter radishes is they store incredibly well. Pull them before the ground freezes solid, brush off the dirt, and they'll keep in your refrigerator for months. Vegetable number 12. Broccoli. Broccoli is finicky in heat but absolutely loves cold weather. Fall-planted broccoli develops tighter heads, better flavor, and fewer pest problems than spring plantings. The key is timing. Plant it 10 to 12 weeks before your first frost, so it can mature as temperatures drop. Broccoli actually tastes sweeter after a light frost because, like other brassicas, it produces sugars as a protective measure. After you harvest the main head, leave the plant in place because it'll produce side shoots for weeks. Varieties like Belstar and Arcadia are reliable cold performers. The side shoots are often more tender than the main head anyway. Vegetable number 13. Lettuce. Lettuce is one of those crops people forget about once fall hits. But cold weather lettuce is vastly superior to summer lettuce. It grows slower, which means leaves stay tender instead of turning bitter. Buttercrunch and winter density are varieties specifically developed for cold growing. With minimal protection, like a simple row cover or cold frame, you can harvest lettuce well into winter. The leaves might grow smaller in extreme cold, but the flavor concentrates. Even if the outer leaves freeze, the heart of the plant often survives and rebounds. It's the freshest salad you'll eat all winter. Vegetable number 14, kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is the weird-looking vegetable that everyone ignores until they taste it. It's crisp, slightly sweet, and tastes like a mild, crunchy broccoli stem. The beauty of kohlrabi for cold weather growing is it matures quickly, usually in about 60 days, and it handles frost beautifully. Plant it in late summer, and you'll harvest in fall. The bulbs stay tender even as they size up in cool weather, unlike summer-grown kohlrabi that gets woody. Purple varieties like kohlrabi are especially cold-hardy. You can eat kohlrabi raw in slaws, roasted, or stir-fried. It's versatile, productive, and trouble-free. Vegetable number 15, peas. Last but absolutely not least, we've got peas. Now, most people think of peas as a spring crop, and they're right, but they're also a fall crop in many climates. The secret is planting them early enough in late summer that they establish before frost. Once established, pea plants are remarkably cold-tolerant. Sugar snap and snow peas handle cold better than shelling peas. They'll slow down or stop producing during the coldest weeks, but they survive and bounce back quickly. In mild winter areas, you can get harvests through winter. Even in colder zones, fall-planted peas give you the earliest possible spring harvest because they're already established and start producing the moment temperatures rise. All right, we've covered 15 incredible vegetables that will keep your garden productive when everyone else has given up. If this video has inspired you to extend your growing season, show me some love with a like and share it with a fellow gardener who needs to see this. And seriously, the comments section is where the real magic happens. Tell me which of these vegetables you're planning to try, or share your own cold weather growing tips. We learn from each other here. Before we wrap up, let me give you some universal tips for cold weather gardening success. First, mulch is your best friend. A thick layer of straw or shredded leaves insulates the soil, prevents heaving, and makes harvesting easier. Second, don't wait until it's cold to plant. Most of these vegetables need time to establish before hard freezes hit. Think late summer and early fall for planting. Third, row covers and cold frames extend your season dramatically. Even a simple hoop house made from PVC pipe and plastic sheeting can give you an extra month or two of harvests. Fourth, water before a freeze. Moist soil retains heat better than dry soil, which protects roots. And finally, be patient. Cold weather vegetables grow slower, but that slow growth produces incredible flavor and texture you simply cannot get from warm weather plantings. Look, I get it. When summer ends, it feels natural to close up the garden and wait for spring. But once you taste a carrot pulled from frozen ground or Brussels sprouts after a hard frost, you realize you've been missing out on the best part of the growing season. These 15 vegetables prove that cold weather gardening isn't just possible, it's actually easier in many ways. Fewer pests, better flavors, and the satisfaction of harvesting fresh food while everyone else is buying imported produce. So grab your planting calendar, choose a few of these cold-loving champions, and keep your garden working for you year-round. Thanks for hanging out with me today at Garden Mentor. Until next time, keep growing and keep learning. I'll see you in the next one.